Hello everyone, this is Babamots, and I promised somebody about a zillion years ago that I would take a look at this game and make some comments on it. I am rustier than I've probably ever been when making one of these videos, but I'll give it my best shot. Here we've got Calsor versus ktblu. ktblu's been on the channel a fair number of times. I don't remember if we've ever seen Calsor before. ktblu's not half bad. Looks like from the score, Calsor is newer, but has, won some games up to 150. 150 ELO points, that is. Calsor went first, picked a blue-yellow fortress. ktblu took a green-blue banker. Uh-oh, let's see. Got a mouse problem. Okay. So, large universe. Calsor focusing on just building up the greens to begin with. ktblu trades for a little blue right away. Calsor matches. Calsor, I think, maybe should have kept pushing the greens since they'd already, with ktblu having a small green star, Calsor already had emptied the bank of small greens. If they had moved one of those greens to a small system of some other color, any other color, they could have been building mediums the turn after. Katie expanding right away, putting a little blue in a green system. I like blue and green together. You can build and then diversify. That's a very healthy colony. Calsor sticking with the greens. Yeah, so the bank is empty of small greens again. And Calsor can start getting into mediums. Katie, though, the bank is also empty of small blues, so Katie might actually get the first medium. They do. Calsor gets their pick of medium, blue, or green. They take the green. Katie trades for another yellow. That's nice. Two systems to build yellows in quite comfortably. Calsor pushes the little blue forward, so that makes this a much healthier colony for Calsor. They can still build and diversify at home. Those both look pretty nice. Katie trading out for a red. It's a fine time. Oh, Calsor looking for the shopping spree in green. Yeah, Katie hasn't been paying any attention to the greens so far. So Calsor might just walk away with all of the greens. And it's a little spooky for Calsor because they're leaving themselves with no red for a moment here. Yeah, so Katie gets the drop on the colony. Question is, what does Calsor do about it? If I was Calsor, I think I'd trade this G2 for R2 in my home. So if Katie wants to capture one of these greens, Calsor can sacrifice the R2, capture back the green that just got captured by Katie, and take Katie's yellow. Calsor instead counter-invading. Calsor doesn't have any red anywhere, though, so this isn't really much of a threat. I mean, they could threaten to supernova. I guess maybe they just want to spread out. Maybe this might be just throwing chaff in the air, trying to confuse the situation, while Calsor's real plan is to sacrifice G3, build that G3 either in one of the colonies, rebuild, and I guess they could build a blue along with it. But honestly, if Katie captures one of these greens right now, then Calsor will be in check. And so building that G3 is not going to be such a good idea. Yeah, Katie captures. So Calsor needs to do something about the fact that they've got nothing but 3 greens at home, because Katie's got a green now they could move in. Calsor, okay, good. Trading for some red frees up that situation. They're not going to be caught without red again, at least not for a while. Problem now is Katie's got control of Calsor's colony. Calsor can't capture these invaders because the pieces aren't big enough. Katie, though, needs to spend at least one turn, yeah, getting another ship that they want to trade for red before they can start capturing these guys. That gives Calsor a chance, yep, to build a medium that could potentially capture some of these invaders. So what does Katie do now? Katie's got, well, so Katie's, I think, plan before was to trade the little yellow for a red. But that's no good because now by the time, Calsor in their next turn is going to capture both of these guys. I think Katie should consider building that G3 to overpopulate these two ships of Calsor's. What have they got that's better, if anything? And of course, by knocking out these two ships, Calsor can't capture Katie's remaining Y1. And yeah, that doesn't look well. That still isn't too great because Katie has let tension build up in this colony as well, where even if Katie knocks out these green ships, Calsor could still sacrifice the R2 to capture the B1. Might not be worth it. Okay, what's Katie gonna do? Sacrifice the G2. That's another way to get it out of harm's way. If Katie wanted to sacrifice the G2 and overpopulate the star, they could build yellow twice, send it supernova. Calsor's pretty definitely ahead after that. But Calsor is also ahead right now. Katie thinking about just evacuating the green. That's probably the better ship to evacuate here. Since Katie is, very low on green. Calsor has their pick. They could capture, sacrifice the R2 and capture both the B1 and the Y2, or Calsor could build the G3. They don't have a very attractive place to build it right now. It could get it's not the worst, but it could get overpopulated anywhere it goes. So maybe Calsor should just capture. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. Well, of course, now Katie gets to build the G3. And I would be pretty tempted to sacrifice the Y2 and overpopulate it. Oh, Calsor's going to let it slide. Okay. So Katie's down in material overall, but they do have the G3, which could really be pretty annoying. Katie's... both players should be... oh, well, yeah, okay, Katie's got a G3 for now, but Calsor's about to build the Y3. Or maybe not. Okay, yeah, so Katie blocks the Y3 build. And oh, how interesting. Okay, so Calsor 2 turns in a row now has traded away their blue ships. And I mean, they've got all the colors now, so that's not too, except for blue. So they used it to get yellow in a place where they were threatening to build Y3, and now they're getting some red, so that's not crazy talk. But the lack of blue could yet catch up with them. Ooh, I don't like this. Katie's big advantage right now is, well, okay, there's some merit to this. Katie's a big advantage right now is the G3. That's a flagship, a large ship that can go around threatening Calsor's colonies. The trouble with it being green, though, is that Calsor can overpopulate it. So if Katie, for example, had moved into Bleb, Calsor could have moved. Calsor can't build more green for the overpopulation, but they could move in the Y1 for the overpopulation. Um, and so I don't much like that Katie is posting that G3 at a red star where it can't even build because there's no green left, and it can't move anywhere else because it doesn't have access to yellow. The thing that's good about this is that if Calsor doesn't notice, Calsor has the bluebird situation, as we call it. If Calsor doesn't respond properly, then ktblu sacrifices the Y3, moves in the G3 and the G2 for the overpopulation and wins. So ktblu, if it's a fine move if Calsor doesn't notice this, but otherwise I don't like that Katie's G3 is stranded. Okay, that I think is a little healthier. And that's not so bad either. Um, in fact, I like that pretty well. So this position gives Katie the opportunity to trade the G3 for another color, yellow, for example. Might be pretty good. Um, and if they did put that G3 back in the bank, if Calsor, I mean, with their current situation, if they built that G3 anywhere, Katie would be able to overpopulate it and some of Calsor's other material by moving the G2 to it. Of course, if Calsor were to build, so I'm just imagining, say Calsor does something neutral like build the R1, Katie trades G3 for Y3, and then Calsor builds the G3 at home. Of course, Katie sacrifices the Y3 to move in the G2, so and wins. So Calsor can't safely build green anywhere right now. So it's not a bad time for Katie to trade that G3 for yellow, for example. Um, okay, putting some green back in the bank. Um, yeah, so Calsor did, of course, have to take care of the problem they had where all of their ships at home were green, or they could get overpopulated. It's kind of unfortunate that this leads to Calsor no longer having a factory, two greens in the same system, one of them large. But maybe Calsor will just get it right back. Nope, Katie built that G1. So now Katie's got a factory and Calsor doesn't. Calsor could do something like sacrifice the G2 to move their G2 and rebuild it at home and build maybe an R2. That would give them, a factory setup. A factory setup that's in some peril because Katie's got so much green on Calsor's doorstep. But yeah, I think at this point I would be looking at do we look at the medium reds or the large yellows? That's probably more important than the upcoming factory setup. Calsor could sacrifice G2, build Y1 back in here in Blab and Y3 in Alti. If Katie built the other Y3, Calsor could overpopulate. I don't know. There's a few opportunities here. Oh, I don't much like the raw build here. It opens up the Y3, and Calsor doesn't really get anything for it. Oh, no. Am I missing something? And see, I was talking about trading for a Y3 before when Katie didn't have the opportunity to simply build because there were smaller ships in the way. Trading now, I would have preferred to just, build it. Why only have two large ships when you can have three? Now Calsor gets one, two. Oh, I'm sure Calsor will take this one back. That's three greens in a system. Katie would certainly send that supernova. Yeah, okay. So Calsor takes the Y3. Katie gets a G3 back. I guess, Katie maintains a one large lead. Calsor still has a lot of other material to compensate, so fairly even, I think. Really. Okay, so that's all right. This could get really spicy. Um, Calsor sacrificing the Y3 to move two yellows into Katie's home. Katie can only capture one of them, and then Calsor can uh, build the Y3 to overpopulate Katie's mothership. I guess that's the idea here. But let's see, responses. If Katie builds the Y3, then Katie can't overpopulate the mothership, but Katie doesn't have any red anymore. And Calsor it would take them 2 moves, but they could get their Y2 into Katie's home to overpopulate Katie's only remaining defender. Yeah, building the Y3 I think is an acceptable escape here, though. Katie's probably got a few options that are as good, I would think. Yeah, Katie's first idea was just as I said, to simply build the. Oh yeah, okay. Well, no, that leaves a Y2 in the bank. Sorry, Y3. Um, yeah, Calsor then can just. Okay, so yeah, all right. So this is a counterattack in disguise. It leaves the Y3 in the bank, which Calsor could build to overpopulate Katie's mothership. I think Katie's idea here is that if Calsor does that, Katie sacrifices Y2 to move two larges into Calsor's home, threatening to win in short order, sacrificing the R2 with the idea that so Calsor captures one of the invaders, but Calsor doesn't have two red power anywhere. Katie sacrifices R2 to capture back the large that Calsor just captured, as well as Calsor's mothership, and but then Katie could be out of red power. Yeah, in fact, Katie loses at that point. Okay, because Calsor could sacrifice the red 1 here to capture. Okay, maybe I better draw this out. Let's see if I can remember how to. Nope. Somewhere in here. Okay, well, there was an update to my screen recording software, and I no longer know how to do the whiteboard overlay. Okay, so yeah, so this is looking like a more sound attack than I thought at first. At least Katie doesn't have the most obvious defense isn't going to work. Okay. Katie starts their turn again. Okay, sacrificing the G3. Get that Y3 out of the bank. I think that's good. Build the R2. That's also good. It sets them up for the attack. And rebuild the G3. Yeah, that seems quite good to me. All right, Calsor, what surprising choice have you got now? Okay. So it looks like Calsor's plan now is just to slow push this yellow into Katie's home to overpopulate the mothership. Katie, though, can trade for... yeah, trade for the B3. R3's not safe. No, R3's not safe, but B3 would be. Katie, or I mean, Calsor would get to build the Y3, I suppose. Okay, Katie's sacrificing, coming in. Yeah, okay, so this is what I was saying before, pushing in a couple of larges, preparing to capture some. Preparing to capture Calsor's mothership and anything that Calsor happens to capture. Okay, let's see what Calsor's answer is here. I'm seeing overpopulation of these invaders as a possibility. Uh, hmm. Yeah, overpopulating the greens wouldn't have been enough because Katie still has the large yellow to capture stuff with, but I don't see that there was any way around that. Okay, so Katie sacrifices, captures the larges back. Yeah, looking very good for Katie, but things could get wild yet. And so someone suggested that I review this game, but they also informed me that this is a game that Yaihar posted a position from on the Discord server and presented it as a puzzle, saying who is going to win. And I recognize the position from that puzzle is coming up pretty soon here, I think. So I think Calsor is going to build the Y3, overpopulate Katie's mothership, and making it a draw if Katie sacrifices their R1 to try to capture the last ship in Calsor's home. Oh, or, well, that's interesting too, but not good enough, I don't think. So if Calsor captures Katie's... Calsor captures Katie's R1. Katie can't win immediately because Katie doesn't have a red to capture Calsor's R1. But Katie can easily trade, one of these ships in Calsor's home for red and win the game in short order that way. So I think Calsor has got to build that Y3 instead. Oh, really? Okay. No, they commit to it. They just captured Katie's only red. And Katie's in... Yeah. So Katie is in danger of losing here. Because if Calsor now builds that Y3, then that knocks out Katie's last defender. No, so this isn't good enough, Katie. You've got to defend. Trading for blue. I think that's pretty good. I don't think Calsor can... Well, yeah, there we go. Yep. I was hoping for that. Trade for another little blue. So now Calsor is prepared to overpopulate Katie's mothership no matter what color they choose it to be. Tricky. Okay. Yeah, that's a good move from Calsor. So if I'm Katie here, I think I sacrifice my Y3 to recall one of my G3s. Because green is a color that Katie can't trade for, but Calsor also can't build any of it because they don't have any there. And even if they brought back, let's see, Calsor. No, okay, Calsor's got some green. They could start using it to pester Katie's home too. My goodness. What a delightful position. I can't remember the name of the person who suggested this, but thank you. I'm enjoying this. This is a good game to come back to. Calsor's or Katie's thinking about the Y3 sacrifice to bring two ships back home, or to swap that the B3 for the G2, or like I was saying, bring the G3 all the way back. Yeah. Calsor's being quite a difficult customer. They've only got the one ship there at home, but Katie just can't get enough time to take care of it. Okay, Calsor now sacrificing Y2. Okay. To push a green into Katie's home and a green into their own home, threatening to overpopulate either one. Wow. That's a really interesting position. I think that was check, in fact. Calsor could have sacrificed the G2, built a blue and a green in Katie's home, and knocked out both stars in one turn. It would have been pretty cool, but Katie probably had too good of a defense someplace. Okay, what did they settle on? Sacrifice Y2, move a green, Bleb to Alti, Alti to Homeworld. Okay, so Calsor sacrifices Y2 to move a G1 in here. Okay, so that's it's similar move, less of a defense, but only putting a G1 instead of a G2 into Katie's home. So yeah, this is check for Katie. Calsor could sacrifice the G2, rebuild it in Katie's home, and build a B1, overpopulating both of Katie's stars at once. Cool. But I bet Katie's got a defense here somewhere. I just don't know exactly what it is. No, Katie, I'm sorry, but you still can't go on the offensive. You've still got to defend. Calsor's got Calsor's got a small of every color in your homeworld and has some greens so they can overpopulate absolutely anything. Wow. What a great position. Just soak that in for a minute. Okay, not a full minute, unless you want to pause. Okay. Katie trading for red. Okay. That takes a blue out of Katie's home, so Calsor could overpopulate the blue star, but they would have to use both of their builds from a G2 sacrifice to do it. And at that point, Katie's got an R3 and can finally sacrifice to capture Calsor's last remaining ship. I think here Calsor, well, no, Katie, you still got to defend. Yep. From this position, I think Calsor has to overpopulate Katie's R3. In fact, I'm quite certain that they do. Anything else Calsor does, Katie's going to have that R3 available to win. Oh, okay. Or, so by knocking out the G3, Calsor could leave Katie with only the R3 at home. And if Katie sacrifices that R3 to capture Calsor's last defender, then it's a draw, not a win. But from this position, I think Katie, well, no, Katie doesn't actually have time to bring anything back because Katie doesn't have any doesn't have any ships and systems that are connected to Katie's home. Um, Even though Katie just lost a star, making it more connected. Wow. Tricky stuff. This is great. I love it. Um, I would not enjoy being one of the players so much, except, well, because, I don't like the stress. Um, stress of a fingernail biting game here. Okay. Sacrificing the G2 to build greens and a blue. Um, okay. Yeah, if Calsor's happy, so this is one. Yeah, by building that blue instead of the red, Calsor is in a stronger position to force the draw, I think. Because at this point, from here, there's nothing Katie can do to prevent Calsor from um, building another blue and winning. So Katie's best bet at this point is just to sacrifice the R3 to capture and make it a draw. So if Calsor wants the draw, they could have it here. Okay, and they commit to that. I think this has got to be a draw. No, Katie. Katie says I'll take your red, so Calsor wins. It should have been a draw. It should have been a draw just there. Calsor sacrifices the green to build blue and win. Okay, well, no, sorry, Katie, you had the draw. Draws don't come up a whole lot in Homeworlds, and sometimes I think even intermediate players aren't looking for draws. Um, it's funny. I just looked at that position on the Discord channel that Yaihar was calling a puzzle, and I didn't see that exact position come up in the game. I didn't notice it. Oh, maybe it was a position that the players considered but didn't commit to. I don't know. Um, anyway, I'll put a link to that Discord post in the video description in case you want to check that out. Uh, really fun game. Sorry I haven't been able to make more videos lately. I've been quite busy. I will try to make some more in the future, but definitely no guarantees because I'm going to be running the tournament. You should check out the previous video for more information about that. But anyway, yeah, have fun out there.